Okay, I see Greg. So let's go ahead and we'll kick this thing off. So thanks for joining me. Tonight's topic is the EcoTracker. I'm assuming most of you are mitigators, but if you're not, I welcome you to learn about the EcoTracker and how it might fit into your business. My name is Dallas Jones, and I am VP at Ecosense, and happy to be with you tonight. Let's see if I can get my slides to move and we'll get started. So I joined Ecosense. I became a shareholder and joined Ecosense after I retired from a position as executive director at ARST and NRPP. And the thing that attracted me to the company is this sensor, this amazing little sensor that gets 30 counts per hour for every picocurie per liter. It was developed in South Korea, and it's quite phenomenal, particularly since not only is it a very clean, low noise, highly efficient detector that gives you excellent readings in a single hour, so you can really track what's going on from 1 hour to the next. It also is very affordable, and I wanted to be a part of the company to see where we could take this sensor and some of the products that were being developed and come up with new applications for how they could be used for not only consumers, but for professionals like yourself. And that's why I'm here. We've got a couple of new products that we've added to our all-star lineup. You'll see up on the top row, we have our consumer monitors, the Eco Blue. If you're not familiar with that one, it has a little button on the back, and you can press it and the display will show the current hour concentration. You can press it again and it'll show the average concentration for the day. And as you keep pressing that button, it'll show you the average for the week, the month, and the year. You just plug it into the wall. It doesn't need a Wi-Fi connection or Bluetooth. We sell a lot of these on Amazon and on our website at ecosense.io. The Radon Eye is our flagship original monitor. It actually connects, even though it has a display on the top, it connects to a mobile app via Bluetooth. And you can see what's going on at the hour, the day, the week, month, and the year using your phone app. And then the EcoCube, which is my favorite of those three, you can put that on your Wi-Fi and then connect via Bluetooth with your phone using the EcoCube app. And you can not only see the concentrations for the day, the hour, the day, the week, and the month, and the year. You can see the trend charts. It shows you the graph of the ups and downs. And it's a phenomenal product that we sell an awful lot of. On the bottom row, we have the Radon Eye Pro, which is our most commonly used monitor by professionals doing radon testing, and it creates a report that's compliant with the ANSI standard. It has the ability to also measure the temperature and the humidity along with the radon concentration, and it has a motion or a movement sensor. In the event that it's moved, it will detect that. And then the EcoTracker, we'll get to in just a second. That's our topic for the night. Our two new products are EcoCube Pro. We've taken the little EcoCube unit, and we've changed the firmware and put in some other features. You can go in with the software and put in all of the metadata for a compliant professional report that meets the ANSI standards. and it has a dashboard. You can set it up for projects if you want to do large scale projects like apartments and schools. Then you can create a project and put all your tests under that project and then fold them into a master report. You can also choose single tests. And we are a lab for this particular device, so it's what's referred to as a blind continuous monitor. We review the results, scan the hourly data for any anomalies, and then we post the results on your dashboard, and you can finish up a report and get it right away out to your client. And then EcoGuard, which is also an NRPP approved device. This is for post mitigation monitoring. It's what I like to call a long-term CRM, but it also will allow the mitigator to place it when they finish the job. They can install this in a fixed location and put a little label on it that explains that it's a component of the mitigation system. And then they can leave and look at their dashboard after enough time has passed, the 24 hours of running time for the fan and another 48 hours, and they can press a button on their dashboard and order a 48-hour post-mitigation clearance test report. And they don't have to go back and get the device because it's going to stay there for long-term monitoring. You can create monthly reports and send them to your client with the press of a button. We're just here in this month, we're automating that function where if you have dozens and dozens or hundreds and hundreds of these out in all of your mitigation jobs, all in your service area, you can send those monthly reports out. It also has an alert that will let you know in the event that a 48-hour period has exceeded the action level, and you can notify your client and find out what's going on. If you'd like more information on that, please give me a call after the webinar tonight or tomorrow, and I'll be glad to give you a demo. So the EcoTracker, let me tell you how this started. The EcoTracker came about because there were some well-known experienced mitigators who began using radon eyes to do some diagnostic testing. And of course, the radon eye measures at 1 hour intervals, but it gives such good hourly data with the detector efficiency that they would put them out to get some diagnostic data. And folks like Bill Broadhead and Dave Wilson, who worked with Oak Ridge National Laboratory and some other prominent mitigators, said to the company, hey, can you set this up where it could give readings at 5-minute intervals or 10-minute intervals, where we can get some quick data and place them around the job site, like you see here in this photo, and see which locations are getting readings of concern, comparatively so, to see perhaps where your hotspots are. We'll talk about this a little more, but you can see all 4 of the units on your mobile app. And so we're selling a lot of these to mitigators. And what I want to talk about tonight is some of the different ways you can use this in addition to finding hotspots and helping you design your mitigation system. So as I mentioned, it stores the data at 5-minute, 10-minute intervals in the sniff mode, and then you can also set it to 1 hour intervals if you'd like to do that as well. You can get a single overview on your app. It connects to each unit via Bluetooth, and you can see what's going on. in the different locations as you spread them around the foundation in places that you'd like to kind of see what's going on in this spot compared to that spot. And it'll measure up to 255 picocuries per liter, and then it'll max out, just because that's the top end that we've set it for recording. If you get over that, you know you found a pretty hot spot. And give you some ideas of the kinds of ways that could be used. For example, you see over on the top left, you've got where in this house they're pouring, setting up the foundation there, and they're going to put a slab there for front steps, a front porch, and then steps coming up to that. And oftentimes you could have great pressure field extension across your slab, but perhaps there's radon accumulating in that soil, in that stoop or that porch, and it's finding its way through the foundation wall into the basement, in this case. And you may not know that if you don't have a way to take a diagnostic reading. You can see other situations in the other photos where, for example, on the top right, that wall, that foundation wall in the basement that's that runs adjacent to that garage up above is a common place to find radon entry. I hear mitigators tell me that not only do they put them along that foundation wall, but also even in the garage. They'll close up the garage and run some quick diagnostic tests there along that wall adjacent to the house itself. Oftentimes there's a nice crack there, and that'll let you know what's going on. You can have situations with multiple foundation types, as you see in the bottom left, where you have a crawl space, or in the center as well, crawl space adjacent to a basement. Do you need to deal with a crawl space? And you can take some measurements there. I had a question come in before the webinar tonight. Someone was asking about, well, what about well water? Can you do a diagnostic measurement for that? And yes, you can. In fact, I think Bob could probably share a story about that here in a minute, perhaps some others of you as well. You can put it along where the pipe comes in from the well, and oftentimes that's an entry point that you would miss just with regular pressure field extension tests below the slab or a membrane. And of course, you could, if you have a water faucet, some source there in the lower level of the house, you could run that and watch the monitor climb if there's enough radon in the water as that water aerates. So it's a good diagnostic tool to let you know what you're dealing with up front. So one of the things that I hear a lot with mitigators these days is that they're actually taking these out not just when they arrive to do the job, but when they go prepare a proposal. So they show up at the house for the first time to get information on what it is the client needs, and they put these out, and they're impressive. So it's a good way to gather some data, help you make a proposal more intelligently than without data. And I find people telling me every day that it helps them get jobs, because not everyone does this kind of diagnostics up front. And people are impressed that you're actually getting data to help you design your system. And which brings up my second point here is that the EcoTracker facilitates those informed proposals. So you're wowing your clients a little bit with the fact that you're using technology to help you do your job. Demonstrates that you're data driven, and they have more confidence in what you're doing than just somebody who takes a quick walk around and says, hey, I'll charge you X, without really having data to base their proposal on. The other thing that I hear all the time from mitigators is that it helps them prevent callbacks. So they can do those diagnostics when they show up at the job. So for example, you might pull up with your van and your crew, and before you unload your tools, you can put them out around the foundation and start getting some diagnostic readings every 5 minutes. And then once you get your truck unloaded and get set up to begin laying out your system, you've got some data that can help you identify areas that perhaps you wouldn't have caught without getting that data. So it saves you callbacks, and which you all know that every time you have to go back out to the job and drive back out and unload your tools and equipment again, then that costs money. And so saving those callbacks is an important way to increase your profits. The other point I'm making here on this slide is that if you haven't run into them yet, you'll run into some difficult jobs that you can't quite figure out what's causing the radon to remain high, even though you've got good pressure field extension. Those head scratchers and being able to get those diagnostic data with the EcoTrackers helps you solve those problems. Where you can get the job done and collect your money and make your client happy, which is what you're after. Another way you can use the EcoTracker is to track your worker exposure. So for example, once you've gotten your diagnostic data and you've installed the system and you check out everything and it looks good, that's great. But while you're working in that house installing this system, you should be tracking worker exposure. So you could set this to 1 hour increments and just sample during the time that you're working at the property, and then take that average for that period and convert that to picocurie per liter hours. And you can now, according to the NCR standards, you can calculate picocurie per liter months, or you can use working level months. I think I've got a couple of folks here from Canada. You can do the same thing and work it using becquerels. It does let you switch from picocuries per liter to becquerels per cubic meter. So it's a good way to keep track of your worker safety and worker exposure for your crew. And then finally, you may not have this come up frequently in your business, but we have mitigators who use the EcoTrackers for taking flux measurements when they are suspicious of emanation from concrete. And I won't get into the formula for how you do that, but you can see this is a setup that Bill Broadhead uses, where he puts the EcoTracker using a battery inside a stainless steel bucket, and then he puts a full water jug on top to hold it down snug to the concrete, and then he lets it run for some time to see what's the rate of emanation coming out of the concrete. And from that, he can actually measure the flux. And we have quite a few mitigators who use Bill's recommendations on how you can do that, particularly if you're in areas where, say, gypsum phosphate slag could be mixed up into the concrete, or even in areas where the gravel that's used in that concrete is just high enough in radium that it's emanating radon. You kind of like to know this in those situations where you can figure out, well, perhaps you need to do something else, like some additional ventilation in addition to your soil depressurization in order to be successful in reducing the concentrations below the action level. So I think the point I'm trying to make is you've got a lot of different ways you can use the EcoTracker. I wanted to make this short enough that you guys could enjoy your evening, and you didn't have to listen to me run my mouth for a long period of time, but we've got a good group of people on the call. So I wanted to take some questions on, or perhaps maybe I'll ask my friend Bob to tell me your most recent story on how you've used your EcoTrackers to solve a conundrum. Bob, are you there? Bob, can you?
Yeah, I think I was muted after our initial exchange.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I had a house recently that was like about 150 in the air in the lower level, brand new place, and mitigation dropped it down to below 4 in the beginning of the winter last year. But then we started getting some strange spikes, and I took the EcoTrackers out and placed them around and moved them around. Eventually, they ended up towards the corner where the well line came in, and several hundred eco-carriers were coming out of not the well line, but from the electric conduit lines, which normally don't have any contact with open soil or anything. They were supposed to be running out to a horse barn, but somehow had gotten pushed apart when they were backfilling and everything, and they were feeding radon in, and the EcoTracker picked that up. It also picked up another anomaly in that corner. And eventually, after they put in a reverse osmosis system and a GAC system, they were able to get the radon and water down low enough that that was no longer a problem. And finally, we got a check and left. And that was thanks to your little white towers there. I call them the cooling towers because they remind me of 3 Mile Island.
Well, I'm glad it helped you solve the problem. I had a similar conversation with Chad Robinson out in Kansas on a job where it was the sort of the pathway where the pipe from the well was coming in through the foundation wall, and he was getting really high concentrations there, but it wasn't steady. It's like it would burp from time to time, where the radon would not be coming in through that opening, very much, and then all of a sudden it would just belch, and all this radon would come in, and then it would slowly come down and dilute some, and then it would do it again. So he was able to track it over a couple of days that he left them to see what was going on, and realized, well, he had to address that. If you've got a story you'd like to share, feel free to raise your hand. Anybody using these that has some experience they'd like to share? Oh, okay. Anybody have any questions? Let's see. Chad, I got your message. You'd like to have a conversation about using EcoTracker to screen for high levels of radon in water. Okay, so I think you heard an example there. I hear that common, particularly if there's like a sink or a water source there in the a washing machine, something there in that lowest level where you can run the water and then watch the radon concentrations to see if they climb and how much. Anybody else have any questions? You guys are quiet tonight. What's going on? Okay. How many of you already have EcoTrackers? Can you? Here, I'm going to just open up mics for everybody. How's that? So I'm going to say allow to talk. And if you would like to open up your mic, just come on. Oh, I see Gloria. Gloria.
Dallas, it's Chad Smith.
Hi, Chad.
Out here in Colorado.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, just wanted to share a story with my EcoTracker system. I'm just a tester, but I use the EcoTracker to help mitigators troubleshoot, and I also worked on a project out in Black Canyon National Park where we installed 7 mitigation systems throughout that park system. So the EcoTracker was super handy because it was a government contract and they didn't call for any confirmation testing. So it worked out really well because we were able to run those EcoTrackers in the place throughout the building. As we put those mitigation systems online, we're actually able to watch those numbers come down in real time. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that gives you a lot more confidence that you've gotten the job done, and it makes your clients kind of happy when they can see some firsthand evidence right there as you can watch it fall. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else have something they'd like to share? I tried to give everybody an opportunity if you'd like to unmute your mic. Tucker, did you have something?
Yeah, I've been using the tracker a few months here, mainly for diagnostics for proposals and going out beforehand. And it's been very helpful on mixed foundations with crawl space and slab mostly. Kind of determine if the crawl space is a contributor or not, and needs to be mitigated. I have had, I don't know if it's an anomaly or something that you might be aware of, where a couple times one tracker has spiked really high at first, like up to 70 or so, and then over about 10-15 minutes it's dropped back down to 30. Or is there any cases of interference from electronics or anything like that?
The only thing that would cause any interference with a sensor would be if it's too close to a Wi-Fi router.
Yep, that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, a Wi-Fi router, if you're 12 to 16 inches, within that to the router, then it can pick up some interference. Cell phones and other things there's no issue with those, but those Wi-Fi routers can be an issue. So on all our products, we try to put a note in that says, hey, watch out for those routers because they can be an issue with interference.
One of the times it wasn't a Wi-Fi router, it was actually a printer that I think had Wi-Fi enabled on it.
I haven't heard that. I suppose it's possible. The routers are the only thing I've seen. Sometimes if you, depending on where you had the device, it may have some residual in there. If you placed it and got a high reading and then moved it to another location, it'll need to calm down a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, so it came on down and then you could see, but it's good to know. Anybody else? Ryan, Will? No? Larry? Okay. So I do have a deal for you. If you're interested in picking up another set, I'm a firm believer that every crew should have a set of EcoTrackers because they could come in handy. We don't offer them at this price except on a rare occasion. But if you'd like to go to our website and go to the professional devices and click on EcoTracker and then purchase, go to purchase one, put it in your cart. And once you get into the cart, then go to checkout and you'll see a little box there that you can enter a discount code. And if you enter Dallas 120 off, we'll knock $120 off that $9.99, and you'll be able to pick these up for $8.79, which is a great deal for 4 units. It comes with a carrying case and all the cables you need. It's a good deal. I hope you'll take advantage of that. I'd also like to encourage you, since I know we have mitigators on the call, if you'd like to learn more about our EcoGuard, we're really starting to see some traction with that, since we've made some improvements to the capabilities and things it can do. We have one mitigator now who has about 150 units out on jobs around his area, and he's going pretty fast. Having another guy in New Jersey who has only been using EcoGuard and his warranty program since the end of February, and he's already got about 68 houses that he's monitoring and getting paid to do that. It's a great way to pick up some ongoing income, and it's a great service for your client to know that you're there looking after the job. It gives them peace of mind, and you'll find a lot of your clients are willing to pay for that. So I hope you'll check it out. And how quickly can you get a first reading? If you set it for 5-minute intervals, then you'll get the first reading in 5 minutes. If you set it for 10 minutes, then it'll be 10 minutes. You'll start to see some information on it pretty quickly because of those short interval times. So if you leave it for, leave them around for a half hour while you're doing some other things, you can start to compare. And, one of the things you're looking for is, how does this area compare with that area? And if you run across something that's pretty hot, you'll know pretty quickly. Okay, I see Gail. Get over to you where I can unmute your mic. Okay, Gail, go ahead. I see your hand was up, Gail. No? Okay. Ryan, yes, I'll send you a note about EcoGuard. We can, any of you who would like to set up a Google Meet where I can demo EcoGuard for you and show you how the dashboard works and how the different things that it can do and kind of how some people are structuring their programs, I'll be glad to do that. Just send me an email. Gail says you're unmuted, but no one can hear me. Let's try again. Well, Gail, try one more time. No. Maybe there's something with your mic. Gail, if you want to type in your question, I'll be glad to get to it. If we stop before then, I'll answer it in an email or give you a call. Anybody else? Okay, so again, don't forget, take advantage of this deal. If you need another set or you don't have any yet, then you're missing out on a great way to save some money on callbacks, make your life a lot easier, solve some headaches, and sleep better at night. Hope everybody gets one. Thanks. If you have any questions or want to check out anything else we have, please, you can reach me at djones, DJONES, at ecosense.io, ecosense.io. Hope to hear from you. You'll probably get a follow-up email from our staff and we'll make sure to let you know what's going on. Okay, I see Gail finally was able to get a, is EcoTracker designed to be used only in multiple unit configs, or can each unit be used separately as a standalone CRM? That's a great question. This is a diagnostic device. It doesn't give you reports. So for doing, actual measurements, for, making mitigation decisions and whatnot, we have other products for that. If you're looking for the least expensive way to do quality tests, we can check out the EcoCube Pro with you. We also have the Radon Eye Pro, which you would purchase those. The EcoCube Pro is a very, very affordable lease, and we actually replace them for calibration on an annual basis. So you save the calibration fee and the time doing without them as well. So Gail, if you'd like to talk about that, I'd be glad to give you a demo on those. Okay, I really appreciate you taking the time to join me. I'll follow up with all of you, and if you want to reach out, you know where to get me. Oh, got one new message. Wait a minute. Oh, you're quite welcome. All right, everybody have a good evening. We'll
Good
see you
evening,
next
everyone.
time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.